Get your feet down. They're not gonna go on the table at all. Do you need something?
I got it.
Okay. Why are you making that face?
Should I open smile or close smile? Okay, let's go. You ready?
Hi guys, welcome to my channel.
Start over. Oh my god.
Hey, why can't you just sit
better?
still?
It's probably not exact, huh?
Just go. I'm not gonna do it again. Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I have my husband and we're gonna be doing a marriage Q&A. So for the first question, how old were you when you first met and how many years ago?
So I was 18, she was 16 when we first met. That was about 6 years ago now, plus or minus a few months, but about 6 years ago.
How did you first meet?
So we first met at school, and we didn't really meet, but we kind of just saw each other, and eventually she added me on Facebook, and then I started liking her photos, and we sent each other messages, and we ended up at her best friend's house, where we hung out for the first time.
He messaged me first though.
Probably.
But yeah, we first officially met at my best friend's house after we were like texting and messaging each other for a while. What was your first impression?
My first impression of her was that she was way out of my league. I didn't think she was gonna go for me, but she did. We ended up hanging out more and more. And then really, on top of the fact that she was so beautiful, and I'm not, as you can see, I'm not on a lot of these YouTube videos. I just felt a presence of strength with her that's hard to describe, but maybe you guys will see it as she posts more videos and reveals more information about herself.
So my first impression of him was that he was cute, and I noticed that he had like a bad boy side to him, I guess, but I also knew that he had a softer side even though he didn't show it at that time at all.
So you thought I was a bad boy?
Yeah. Why?
Do you still think that?
No.
No.
Not at all. Do you want to be a bad boy?
I don't know.
Why would you want to be a bad boy?
I don't know.
You follow the law, like, I don't understand. Were your kids planned? How long were you married before you decided to have kids?
Well, let's see. We were married for about 6 months, maybe 7 before we decided to have kids. It took about 2 months of trying, but yes, all of our kids were planned. And Eveline came about 8 months after Mason.
With Mason, it was 8 months after we got married. We got like married in, I guess it was like a courthouse wedding, even though it was outside. And then we had our wedding in December and we had conceived him in November. So I was like barely pregnant, but yeah, we were married before we got pregnant or even started trying. Favorite memory from when you first got together?
So my favorite memory was when I took her out to the spot that we always used to go out to smoke cigarettes when we were younger, and you know, we don't smoke anymore, but we always used to go to this place by her mom's to smoke a cigarette when we wanted to. But anyway, I looked her in the eyes and I had told her that she was the best thing that ever happened to me. And at the time I knew it was true, but now I know it was even more true than I had ever imagined it to be. So that's really my favorite memory from when we first got together.
For me, it would probably be when he was at my mom's and we were watching Planet of the Apes, and we went outside to, like he said, smoke a cigarette, and he started running down the street pretending like he was Caesar, saying Caesar is home. So I thought that was funny. And then another time, we used to always like lock each other out of my mom's house for some reason. We were just always playing around, and the kitchen window was open and it was right above the sink. So he was like climbing in the kitchen window and spraying me with the hose of the sink, and I don't know, it was just really funny too. Those are probably my top 2 favorite from when we first were together. Hardest time in your whole relationship?
I think the hardest time in our marriage was the first year. You know, it's just such an adjustment period, and I was being, you know, the way that I shouldn't have been. And honestly, the fact that she stuck with me through that first year is pretty amazing, but eventually I understood that marriage, you know, it means to compromise, it means to stop just thinking about yourself, and it means to really start to consider the future and you know, another person that is in your life.
So yeah, I think our first year was hard, but I think the hardest part of the year for me would probably be when I got pregnant with my son, because we were just on completely different pages. Probably because I was carrying a kid, so I changed a lot of my ways and he wasn't. So he was kind of like waiting to change his, I guess, until Mason got here. But just like the lack of support when I felt like I needed it a lot at the time was probably just really hard for me, because I was so far from my family and I was emotionally going through a hard time because I was pregnant and I had a bunch of hormones, and then we were just on completely different pages with what we were, like what our main focus was in life. So that was probably my hardest time. How did you know he or she was the one?
I knew she was the one early on, especially when I started to care about her emotions versus just my own. I started to care about, you know, the fact that she was mad, sad, upset, or happy. I just wanted to make her happy, and the fact that I actually cared about that was the biggest difference between her and anybody else that I ever tried to date or talk to.
I knew just because, like, it just seems like when you really not like someone, when you really love someone, it kind of just like clicks, and it's hard to explain, but it's just different than, I guess, the other people that I talked to or dated, I guess you can say. It was like,
Aww.
I guess it was just more like I was like more emotionally invested in. I think me and him were both like very careless teenagers, so for us to actually care about each other was just what stuck out to us the most, probably. How many kids do you want?
So I want a lot of kids. And I know the magic number is 4, but at the end of the day, I want as many kids as we can financially support. I like the idea of a big family, and maybe that sounds kind of weird, but I want to be able to adopt. So at the end of the day, I just want as many kids as we can financially support, still be stable, still be happy, and still be able to do things we want to do, and be able to support the things that our kids want to do.
Yeah, so I definitely want 4 of my own, and then I would like to really adopt siblings, because I know that a lot of people don't do that, so they kind of just like stay put for a long time, because people just normally want to adopt one. So I would really like to adopt siblings, so that would be like 6 kids, but I guess it would just be, dependent on our financial state at the time, how much the adoption would cost, how much money we were spending on all our 4 kids. Favorite thing your partner does for you?
So the favorite thing she does for me is really just be a mom, I guess, and also just be a wife. Like when I come home from work, sometimes it's late, sometimes I guess it's normal, but at the end of the day, when I come home, I know that the house is taken care of, and I know that she's tried her best to be the most productive person she can be in terms of being a mom and being a wife. When I come home, I don't have to worry about dinner, I don't have to worry about laundry, I don't have to worry about cleaning. So I think my favorite thing about her is how hardworking she is in terms of this family.
My favorite thing that he does for us would probably just be how he sets us up for success. He works full-time and then also goes to school full-time, so he's setting us up for the most success when he gets out, which is only in a year. But so that's probably my favorite thing, is just like his work ethic and how he just tries to make sure that we're always going to be taken care of. Where do you hope to be in 5 years, marriage and family-wise?
So in 5 years, honestly, I hope to be in a better situation than I am now. Maybe that sounds cliche, but I want to continuously improve this family situation and their well-being. You know, I want to move into a bigger house, I want to have better and nicer things, but I also want to have a better relationship with my wife and my kids, a relationship that's always improving, you know, and not getting set back or not staying the same, because I think that marriage is a relationship that you build on, and I think that being a father is also a relationship that you continuously build on and learn from.
So mine's pretty much the same as his, and I also hope to be attending church more, because right now it's just been hard with 2 kids that are so young and pumping breast milk and all that stuff. So it's just been a challenge to try to balance all that out and also focus on our spiritual relationship with God. So I just hope that we improve in that aspect a lot, because I know that that's always our foundation as a family. Annoying things that your partner does.
Okay, so I got two. The first one is stop leaving lights on, and the second one is clean your hair out of the shower. If those two things could happen, there wouldn't be a single thing I could mention right now.
Oh yeah, I laid out that. Oh my God. So I don't like when I'm just trying to peacefully cuddle with my husband and be in a comfortable position, and he puts his leg over me and basically like sandwiches me in between the mattress and his leg. I am a very petite person, and he's just a lot. What? I am. Am I fat? Is that a fat joke? Are you laughing because I'm fat? So I'm a very petite person, and he's just a lot bigger than me because I'm so small. So when he puts his leg over me, it's like very uncomfortable, and then he kind of like gets annoyed with me that I am getting annoyed that his leg's on me. So it's just annoying. And then also when he farts in my direction, because we were watching Pirates of the Caribbean the other night, and he literally kept farting on me, and I kept trying to tell. And I kept trying to tell. Yes, it was.
It was an accident.
I kept trying to tell him over and over, like, can you please stop farting on me? And they'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I know it looks like I did it on purpose, but I didn't. So that was irritating for me because it's gross. What's the one thing you admire your partner for most?
Man, that's a hard question because there's so many things that kind of have the same value. But I guess when I really think about it, I admire you the most because of your motherliness, if that's a word.
No.
Really, at the end of the day, family is most important to me. And right now, it's raising those kids to be the best they can be. So I think your motherhood or motherliness is your best aspect because she's such an awesome mother. At the end of the day, I couldn't have asked or created or, you know, she is just so good at being a mom that it's amazing. And every day I see it. So thank you for being the best mom I could have asked for to my kid.
To yourself.
Not to me.
Thanks. So my thing that I admire the most about him, when, like I said, well, there's two, but the first one, like I had just said, is basically just how hard he works and how he just tries to make sure we're always taken care of financially, because I know that that's not always easy to do. And
it's not.
And also too, how he like balances all the things he does to set us up financially, and also is just a really good dad and doesn't put our kids on the back burner. He like gives them baths every night, reads Mason a book before bed, and makes sure he just spends time with them every day. How do you work through hard times in your marriage?
If I were to give advice to someone on how I work through hard times, it's simple. Just realize that this is the person you love. And you know, you probably won't get a second chance at that. And if you do, you're probably compromising. At the end of the day, I love her so much that when we fight, and when I get angry, and when I think that I can't do it anymore, or when I think I'm unhappy, I just remember those vows I took. I remember the commitment I made to her, to my children, and to really myself, that I was going to put her first, and that this was no longer just about me. So to get through hard times, to get through disagreements, stand your ground when you feel like you're right, but also be willing to compromise when there's a question of whether or not you're wrong.
Yeah, mine is just like, I guess, as weird as it sounds, is just like trusting the process, because every hard time I think that you learn from and you grow from, especially when you get married young, because you're still maturing in your own way, and each person will do it at their own pace. So you just have to be patient in some areas and be graceful and just put yourself in the other person's shoes, even though sometimes it's really hard and you just can't see why they're being that way or doing what they're doing. But just try to put yourself in their shoes and see things from their point of view, whether it's right or wrong. And I think that you'll see a whole new side to everything in the relationship.
Yeah, you have to. You got to put yourself in their shoes, because if not, you're just going to be so one-minded that you'll never find a compromise.
And you always have to, I think, hear the person out. And even probably doing just counseling, like having a third party that's not involved in your marriage, really, I think, opens people's eyes If your kids say they're in love at the age you guys fell in love, would you believe them? Why or why not?
So of course I'd believe them. You know, I think I'd have my doubts like any father or mother, because you don't want to see your child get hurt. We got married young, and I know we're in love, so it's not impossible. I wouldn't make them feel like, you know, the emotions that they're going through are false, or that they don't know what they're talking about because they're immature, they don't have life experience. I just remind them, initially love is very happy, and it's not that hard, but it will get hard. And you need to be able to ensure that that person is the one you want to spend the rest of your life with, because if not, it won't work out, and it's going to be more devastating in the end than it is, you know, happy.
I agree, and also I think that I'm just going to try to take the biblical perspective on it, because God does say in the Bible to date with the intentions of getting married. And of course, when Mason's in 7th grade, I am not going to push him marrying his first little girlfriend that he has. But I think that just setting them up with that standard, they're going to pick someone, when they're dating, they're going to pick someone who is worth their time, who is someone that they see, I guess, as wife material. And they're not going to just, or husband material, to where they're not going to just waste time, and they probably won't get hurt. So as long as I try my best to raise them that way, and I know they're going to make their own decisions, but I'm just going to try to really believe them, because I know how it felt when people didn't believe us, and there was a lot of people who didn't. And now it's just kind of like,
rub it in their face.
Yeah, that's really what I wanted to say. Because it was just so frustrating at the time to feel all these emotions and have no one believe you, and you're just kind of like, am I crazy? Like, I feel this way and I know I do, and I even would pray about it, but yeah, people just thought we were crazy. So of course I'm gonna believe my kids. And I just think as a parent, as long as they're happy, and I will be able to tell if they truly are, and I'll be able to tell if they're truly in love, then of course I'll believe them 100%. And I will always support their decisions as long as they're happy, and as long as the person's just not a complete like nut job or something.
So guys, thank you for watching. Please subscribe to her channel. I won't be on here that often, I promise, so you don't have to look at me. Give this video a like. Make sure you subscribe. She's gonna have plenty of awesome videos here in the future, and thanks for watching.
Bye.